Hi, friends. Welcome to Stash Challenge 2026. My name is Mariah, and I am your host for the Stash Challenge 2026. If you are new here, welcome. I'm excited. We have a lot more new people joining the Stash Challenge. Just to give a quick update, every month I did this last year, I've been doing a vlog. With the purpose really of just having something that you can turn on and watch um, while you're working, hopefully working with your stash yarn. So I'm tweaking a little bit this year, making the videos a bit shorter, and this section here is going to be a bit shorter. In the past, I did the whole what am I working on? What have I finished? What sorts of things have I purchased? But those videos got a little long and it did get a little cumbersome. So I wanted to try just shortening this section into more of a update on the stash challenge. I'm gonna reveal the scoreboards if you haven't seen those yet for our top 10 heavyweight lifters and long distance runners, talk about the challenges that we're doing right now, and a couple of other sort of housekeeping things regarding the stash challenge itself. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on what I'm working on or what I've made, although in the video you saw I was working on the May scarf. I did finish that, so I am wearing that right now, but I'll put links to that information in the description box. So that's my plan for this year and see how things go as far as the YouTube channel goes. I am open to ideas, suggestions, comments. Um, to see what people like, don't like, would like to see. Again, I just wanted something kind of what I like, background music, background imagery. I can look up and if I want to, but I don't have to like watch every second. I'm not going to miss anything. So, that being said, if you are new here, um, and so new you don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna have a link to the orientation video regarding the Stash Challenge for 2026. If you're not new here and you haven't watched that video, there are some updates to how we're doing things this year. So that can be helpful to look at. But always feel free to ask me any questions if you are still unsure of what exactly is going on. But you can go to that orientation video to kind of get an idea of what a stash challenge even is. So this is it's technically my 4th year doing a stash challenge, but our 3rd year kind of having it open up to the public. And it's growing and I'm really excited about that. Okay, the first housekeeping business that I wanted to touch upon is some frequently asked questions that have been coming up, which have been fantastic. I did send a newsletter out with those questions in there, but I'm trying to get to everyone in all sorts of different ways. Not everyone's on Instagram, not everyone is on Discord, so the newsletter is another way to get this information out there, and so I'm also going to address that here. So if things kind of seem redundant and you already know, you can not listen, I guess, or skip ahead. But I just wanted to make sure everybody has the information. So one of the, I think, really great questions that I've seen often is, do I have to finish a project before I log it in the stash in my handy dandy spreadsheet? And the answer is no, you don't have to finish your project. And ideally, at the end of the month, before the end of the month, because at midnight at the end of the month, that's when I update the spreadsheet so I know who are our top 10 heavyweight lifters and long distance runners. If you want every last gram and yard to be able to account towards that and maybe give you a chance of getting on the scoreboards, you want to make sure that whatever yarn you've used, you weigh and get on your handy dandy spreadsheet. If that's not really that important to you, then you can absolutely wait until you finish your project. Some people, me included, almost every time I use any yarn at all, I obsessively weigh it and log it in. It's really up to you. Like I always tell people, it's your journey. So this is why ideally what you would do before you started a project, you would weigh the yarn and then you would input that information in the handy dandy spreadsheet. That's your pre-weight. And then when you do any knitting or crocheting or whatever you do, when you use up some of that yarn, you want to re-weigh that ball of yarn again, so you can put that in the post weight. And you're going to continue to change that number every time you use any bit of yarn. So that's how you're going to keep track of your grams. That being said, if you do forget to weigh your yarn beforehand, you can weigh the project, and you don't even have to wait until you finish the project to weigh it if you don't want to. So the way that you would do that, if you forgot to weigh your yarn, you've already started working on the project, and you want to include that, what you're going to do is weigh the project. And if you happen to have it on the needles or you have stitch markers or anything on there, you can weigh all of those things together. What we're measuring is change. So as long as you keep all of those items on the project the next time you weigh it, it's going to account for the change. And that change is going to be the amount of yarn. So you can make a note for yourself in the spreadsheet if you want. Like my needle, it was still on the needles. I had this stitch marker on there. That way you get an accurate measurement. So what you're going to do is weigh that project, and you're going to put that weight in the post weight of your yarn. And then whenever you reweigh your project, you're going to put that information under the pre-weight column. And then in this case, you're going to be changing the pre-weight number instead of the post-weight number. So that's how you would do a project. And that may also include if maybe you had a project from last year, and you want to start working on it, you can weigh that and put that information in. There is also a frequently asked questions tab in the handy dandy spreadsheet, and in each box I've written in what to do. And I have this written out as well because it honestly confused me the first times I thought about it and tried to figure out how to explain it. So that's all written down for you as well and talked about in the orientation video. So a couple other questions I had regarding this spreadsheet. One common one is that the spreadsheet says read only, and so you can't make any changes at all. So that one's been happening often and problem solving a little bit with people. It sounds like it's mostly happening when people are trying to access the spreadsheet from a phone or a tablet. So the first thing I would suggest, always make sure that you're signed in with the email into Google Docs that you gave me. That email is used to protect the sheet and giving you permission to change only your spreadsheet. So if you happen to be signed in with a different email, you're not going to be able to make any changes. And then the next thing I would do is go to a computer if you can. I haven't teased out this detail, but I suspect that if some people are accessing the spreadsheet, maybe they click on the link and it takes them to the spreadsheet in a phone web browser like Safari, that maybe it's because of Apple versus Google, I don't know. It's not letting people really be signed in with their Gmail. So you can also try, if you really need to use your phone or your computer, try downloading the Google app and access the spreadsheet directly in the Google app itself. That's my other thought. Again, I haven't teased that out, but those would be the first steps. Make sure that your email is correct, and then try it on a computer if you're having that issue on a phone or tablet. And then the other one, the other error, what I'm getting a lot is that I have an error on my spreadsheet and it's not calculating. And I do when I check the spreadsheet, and I can easily see when there's an error. So I do go in and check for those. Commonly what's happening is in the columns where you input your numbers, only put in numbers, and you only need to put in whole numbers. I have it set up so it's going to calculate in whole numbers anyway. So if you do put in decimals, that should be fine, but it's going to calculate in a whole number. and don't put any letters in there. So like if you put in 100 and it's grams and you put in a G, it's going to spit out an error. So don't put any letters in there. I also recommend not cutting or deleting any rows. So just selecting the cell, and if there's an error, just type over it. Uh, it will fix the number. Some people have like deleted or cut a row because they put in the information wrong or whatever. It's going to delete the formula as well. Despite my best efforts to make sure that doesn't happen, that's still happening. So, but if it does, I will see that and I will fix it, or you can send me a message. You can even leave a comment on the spreadsheet itself, and I do get a notification. I get an email saying that there's a comment on the spreadsheet, which is great, so I can go right to where the problem is and fix it. So those are some of the frequently asked questions that I've been seeing, and please keep asking your questions. Trying to make this as user-friendly for everybody, and sometimes these issues that you might be having are helpful to ask, because then someone else might be having the same problem but didn't say anything, and then they'll get that answer. Just a heads up, also, all of the spreadsheet links have been sent, so all of the people who signed in up on the Google form, I have sent an email with a link to the spreadsheet. There are quite a few people who haven't clicked on that link yet and started filling out their spreadsheet. That's okay. People change their mind and decide that it's not for them. It's totally fine. But if you really want to participate and you haven't gotten the email yet, I would search your email for Stash Challenge 2026. If you still haven't seen the link to the spreadsheet, you can also let me know, and I will send you that link. I have reached out a couple of times to everyone who hasn't clicked on it yet. So either you don't want to participate or you are unreachable. So just so you know, if you're still waiting for your link, I have sent all of those out. So that's all the housekeeping stuff for the spreadsheet. So now, hopefully for the fun stuff. This year, one thing that I've done is, and actually I'll put that up right now. One thing that I've done is planned out all of the challenges for the year. And the thought process behind all of these is little extra pushes, boosts of motivation to get you to use your stash in different ways. This is kind of the order that we did things last year, and they all seem to work pretty well. We'll see about adding or changing things. I'm always open to that, but this seemed to be fun and work pretty well for everybody. So this is the schedule for this year. We have finished up our first challenge, which was the New Year's Cast On Along. Or the Cast On Challenge. I've been playing around with wording. There are alongs being said, like a make along, or I've been trying to say challenge where it works better. I struggle with make alongs. I can't keep up. So a challenge sounds a little bit more individualized and whatever that you can do in the moment. And I've also tried to make sure that these go on for a long stretch of time, so you don't feel rushed. And if you maybe when the challenge starts, you're not ready, and you can still participate later. So our first new challenge, we have 2 challenges going on right now. So the first one is going to be the WIP-A-LONG. And I've seen a lot of challenges and make-alongs out there working on your WIPs. So we've had fun doing our New Year's cast on, which I love casting on something new. And now it's time to get to work and start getting those WIPs out and getting through a lot of those WIPs. That's going to be going from February 1st through April 30th. Now, and you can approach this challenge in any way that you want. If you didn't finish your cast on like I did, I can't believe I finished my New Year's cast on. If you didn't finish that, that is a WIP, so you can continue working on that. If you want to go pull out your oldest WIP, you can. Really, this is for you. And you are allowed to sort of double dip. I've seen lots of other creators, makers, doing challenges, or make-alongs. So my hope too is that you can kind of like, oh, this make-along is happening, that coincides with a challenge in the stash challenge, so maybe I can use my stash yarn for that. And then the other challenge that's going on at this time, starting February 1st, is the Sock Madness Challenge. This is here because it coincides with the Sock Madness Forever challenge that happens on Ravelry. This will be my 3rd year participating in the Sock Madness Forever challenge, and I really enjoy it. So, you don't have to do Sock Madness. It is a speed knitting competition, and it's wild. Um, but we have some fun in my Discord, where we encourage each other, we help each other. I think it's a fun competition, that pushes you a little bit, and not everyone competes, so, which is totally fine. This time period, it just starts February 1st and it goes on forever, however long Sock Madness lasts, which does go into March, probably even further into April. I usually don't make it that far, so but the idea here during the Sock Madness along, the Sock Madness challenge, is to start working on some socks. You can start new socks, or if you want to do what I'm currently doing, get out some of those sock whips, and again, double dipping and getting those whips done. I'm trying to get my socks done that I have as whips before the Sock Madness Forever Challenge officially starts. Signups have already started for Sock Madness, on Ravelry. I will have a link below. And then I invite you to hang out in our Discord. We have a Sock Madness channel. It's a great place to ask questions and get encouraged and be inspired by everyone being amazing knitters. So those are the 2 challenges going on right now. And again, I have a schedule if you want to go take a look. Maybe you're not interested in either of these challenges right now, and see what's coming up next that you might be interested in. Okay, finally, let's talk about Stash Challenge 2026. How we've been doing. We've done our first month. January's over. And again, if you're new here, every month I like to pull together our numbers and see where we're at. Last year, I had an infograph with comparing how much we knit with an animal. I made little images for all those animals, and I also did some distances, which that was really hard, actually. So I am going a little bit of a different route this year as far as collectively what we've done. Now that we have, I think, some good numbers from last year, I did a better job keeping track of our numbers. I want to do more comparative stats because I think it's fun to see where we were last year and how far we've come this year. And I didn't write down the numbers, but we already have a lot more people participating this year, which is a lot of fun. I'm very excited about that. I think we had about 100 people sign up last year, but only around 60 people actually filled in their spreadsheets. And last year's spreadsheet, I didn't have the timestamp on it, so I don't know how long people maintained their participation. So this year I can see we already have over 100, almost 200 people have signed up this year. Right now we have our ranking is out of, I think, 89. So 89 people who are actively filling in their spreadsheet. So that's very exciting. So numbers are up. So we should have larger numbers, right? As a group. So first, the group stats for this month, for January, we worked up 50,526 grams. That's 111 pounds of yarn. And for the yards, we have 117,125 yards, which is 67 miles. And then for this year-to-date image, I thought it would be fun to do kind of a goal, like this is what we did last year. Let's see our numbers creep up and see if we can reach that goal for this year. So last year, our total for the year, we had 487 pounds of yarn and we had 270 miles. So we've got a ways to go, but already our numbers for January doubled our numbers for last year's January. So we're already doing pretty well. So I am confident that we'll be able to surpass our numbers from this year. So that's going to be our goal. And we're going to keep track of that together. And so the only way to reach that goal is collectively if we're all using up our stash yarn. So maybe the 2 slides that you've been waiting for, if you haven't seen yet, I have our top 10 scoreboards. So first up, we have the top 10 scoreboard for our heavyweight lifters. I'll already point out for some of those people in the top 10, they have my bestie said they've already used up more yarn than I did the whole year last year. So some very amazing work done here getting through that stash yarn. If you come over into the Discord, you can see a lot of projects that people are working on. And really, what I'm enjoying is seeing the different ways to even use your stash yarn. It's not just crochet or knit a big blanket. If you want some more inspiration and ideas how you can use up your stash yarn, come on over. And then our top 10 scoreboards for our long distance runners. Also very impressive numbers. If you are nowhere near, like I am, the top 10 scoreboards, I didn't make it on last year at all. I don't expect to make it this year at all. On your handy dandy spreadsheet, there is a monthly stats table. I highly recommend that, and you don't have to do this, but I highly recommend you go there, put in your totals for January. There are boxes that are bold, have a bold border around them. Those are going to get calculated for you to do your monthly totals. You're going to do your total as of the end of January, and you're going to put that in the table. And every month, at the end of every month, you're going to put in your total, and the table is going to do the calculation for you so you know what your monthly totals are. And then you can also keep track of your rank. So in the top corner of the spreadsheet, you'll see your rank for the heavyweight lifters and the long distance runners. You can put those numbers in on the table as well. My hope is that this is an opportunity for you to keep track of your stats and make goals for yourself and see improvement in yourself. And not necessarily compare yourself to people who are just way beyond some of us. And then the other thing that I do have, and I linked it in one of my emails there, it's pinned in our Discord. I do have some coloring sheets that I thought would be fun. I haven't updated mine completely, but this is what it looks like. So each month you can fill in your information. I've put spots in there for you to write goals for yourself for the month. You can write down things that you finish, what your challenges that you're working on, your WIPs, keeping track of your grams and yards. What are your goals for your grams and yards? So just to be a personal goal sheet for yourself, your own personal uh, scoreboard, if you will. And you can do one for every month. And this is the horizontal one that you can fold, and you can make a little booklet if you want. That was a suggestion I had from some friends. So really up to you if this is helpful. Just another opportunity to think about what you have already and what you can use that you already have. Okay, so I think that is it for today. I hope all this was helpful. And please, if you have any questions, concerns, problems, let me know. You can leave me a comment here on YouTube. You can even reach out on Discord. I'm going to have a link to that down there. But otherwise, that's it, and I will see you next month.